Presentation, but I want to go ahead and go over we're going to just go ahead and do a mortgage rate update real quick. And since you just got the loan officer license, we're going to go over it a little bit too. Maybe you can just like correct me. So as I've been telling you guys, updating you on mortgage rate updates, we do have a LO in the house, but this part of the programming is brought to you by Evolve Bank and Trust, Tyler Gold app.
Love
you
them.
can reach him at 614-499-1808. But instead of me going over it, they do have programs, and I go over it every week. They have Heroes program, which is our firefighters, police, teachers, and our frontline healthcare workers. And I always tell our frontline healthcare workers, thank you so much for whatever you're doing on COVID-19 front and risking your life and everything. We do have a down payment assistance program for you. And also for our regular folks, you know, I was watching Bloomberg. We're going to talk about it in a second this morning. But right now, number one thing is like, you know, get yourself mortgage qualified. If you're in Texas market, make sure you are qualified and make sure you get your pre-qual. Make sure you're underwritten to conditional approval, because in this market, you're going to end up bringing 20, 30,000 to the table. So it's really, really important, and we're going to go over it right now. In a second, Tom going to update you. But we do have a down payment assistance program. But Tom is also a loan officer. Tom, which brokerage you're with?
Yeah. So I work with Prime Lending. And so we've got over 400 different loan products that we can work with. So not only are we a mortgage broker, but we're also a mortgage lender. And so we have in-house products, and we can also shop for products to get you the best rates and deals on your mortgage.
I usually tell people what the mortgage rate is right now, like an average conventional and FHA. What is it today?
Yeah, so the rates today, you're still able to qualify in the low threes, assuming top tier credit, right?
2.75.
Yeah, I've seen 2.75. And remember, whatever rate you're quoted, you can usually get lower if you're willing to pay for some points, right?
Okay.
And so there's a number of different ways to do that. So depending on the resources that you have for closing, when you're looking at a long-term 30-year fixed rate, there are instances where you might want to buy down that rate a little bit. And so we can talk about the different programs and different ways that we can.
Do you guys have jumbo loans for people
Absolutely.
that are buying like over 500?
Yeah, so the limit this year on jumbos in Denton County, Texas, is $548,250. And so if you're going to be borrowing more than
Repeat that number again for people.
$548,250 is the maximum for a conventional loan. If you get over that, you do need to go jumbo. And essentially what that means is, as opposed to being Freddie, Fannie, which are government backed, a jumbo loan is going to be not having that same protection from the government. So the rates are a little bit different. They're still fantastic. Matter of fact, Obie, last week I saw some jumbos at 2.875 on 30-year fixed. That was with 20% down. The other thing that's great about jumbo loans is they do not have mortgage insurance. Okay, so that's another feature because those are not mandated by Freddie and Fannie once you cross 548,250.
So do you have any advice for people that are trying to get pre-approved? Well, as a LO.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about how to look good on paper.
The market is like crazy right now. You know, it's like 15, 20, even like with. You're putting offers on and like, you know, to buy another home.
Yeah.
And you're putting 20, 30 over.
Yeah.
So in that market,
50,
like, so
100 over.
I mean,
It's insane.
It's crazy.
But let's talk about how you can put yourself. Okay, so listen, there's a lot of competition. And so what you want to do when you're purchasing a home is the first thing, like Obie's saying, is you want to look good on paper to a lender. So how can you do that? Let me give you a couple of quick tips, things that you can do when you're thinking about getting into the home buying process. And by the way, your realtor will thank you for this. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to download a copy of your last 2 years of tax returns, okay? So maybe you did them on TurboTax, maybe you've got an accountant, wherever you did those, this is your homework. I want you to locate those last 2 years of tax returns. The second thing that I want you to do is to download your last 6 months worth of bank statements. Banks always and lenders want to see where your down payment is coming from. And so you do not want to be having money in a bank account that you can't explain the source, okay? So if you're going to get money from mom and dad or whatever, go ahead and get that in your account as quickly as you can so that 6 months later, those funds are considered seasoned, okay? The next step, so again, let's review. You want 2 years tax returns. You want 6 months of bank statements. Sign up for a free account on creditkarma.com and identify what your credit score is today. They utilize TransUnion and Experian. If you've got some little dings on your credit, you'll be able to find out who all of the creditors are in your credit file. And maybe there's somebody there that you've forgotten about. Maybe you opened an account over at Belk during college and you've got some $75 balance you never paid that's dinging your credit, but you utilize a free service. And many credit cards, Capital One will give you a free copy of your report. You can go to My Free Credit Report and get one. Credit Karma, this is a way you want to be on top of your credit, know roughly what your credit score is, and be proactive if there's something that's dinging your credit to go ahead and get that cleaned up. The next thing that I would tell you if you're wanting to buy a house, Obie, this is not the time for you to go shopping for a new car. It's not the time for you to go open a Discover card or an Amex or a Citibank. You don't want any new lines of credit when you are applying for a mortgage. So that's just good advice. Until you close on that house, no new cars, no new credit. I don't care if they're giving you 25% off at the Gap. If you just sign up for the card, it's not worth it. Because keep in mind, part of what determines your interest rate with your lender is your credit score. So again, tax returns, you want 6 months of bank statements. You're gonna need your last couple of pay stubs from your employer. And you are going to want to check on that credit report and make sure that you've got that cleaned up. Another thing that I would tell you is this. Lenders are going to assess something called your debt to income ratio. And so that's a lot of detail that goes into that. They have something called the front end, the back end. Reach out to a trusted loan officer who has the heart of a teacher who can explain to you. Give me your number. Yeah, so you can certainly reach out anytime at 214-883-3897. Again, yes, sir. 214-883-3897. We can help you to get set up with all those things that lenders are going to be looking for. The last thing that's
prime lending.
Prime lending, yes. And the other thing that I would say is this. If you have a good loan officer, this process will not be painful because what we're going to do is we're going to prepare you. We're going to identify the potential pitfalls. For example, what money do you need in advance when you start thinking about buying a house? Well, a lot of times your appraisal is paid out of pocket. Your earnest money, when you write a contract for a home, typically 1% in our area, you want to be prepared to be able to cover some of these costs associated with purchasing a home before you get to the closing table. So be thinking about the earnest money, be thinking about that appraisal, be thinking about your home inspection. And Obie, we got a couple home inspectors we like. You want to give somebody a free shout out there?
Well, we have a whole segment for it.
Oh, okay.
We got a whole
listen to
segment
me
for
out
it.
in front of my skis, right?
We got a whole segment. So
with that
said, we're gonna take a short break.